Hey, hey, mom, two square, two C square. Hey, tall glass. Hello, everybody. I came on because I didn't want to get past, you know, today before I tell you guys what happened on Monday. I wanted to save it to now because I want to be, I don't want um I wanted us to focus on the emotion instead of the drama. I wanted us to focus on emotion instead of the drama. Um, I just got out. I got out of court like 7:30 tonight, and I came home, went to the store, came home, cooked dinner, and I decided to get on before I went to sleep. But I wanted to tell you guys what happened at court on Monday. The motion hearing was continuing with Stillwell's motion. That was a motion to suppress, which you guys know that was the one they got a win on. But I wanted to tell you guys what happened on Monday in regards to the judge and Stillwell's attorney. They got into really heated conversation. And the judge was really being really mean to him, really mean. And so because it kept going back and forth, back and forth. You know what? Let me play a little bit of it, the offset of it, so you guys could understand what I'm talking about. What happened on Monday? Hold on, this is from Monday. Just 1 second, and then I'll tell you the story of how he almost got arrested. Well, he was going to get arrested. It was ugly. Hold on a second. Let me just bring it up a little bit so you guys could hear the back and forth with the judge. Hold on.
Prior to showing any photo lineups, Sammy Davis is provided with some photos.
Let's say Google Earth.
Hold on.
Just move on.
Hold it.
Okay,
wait.
What I remember, and also
Watch what the judge said.
In close temporal proximity to the interview.
Did you use the Google Earth pictures to do that, Mr. Finkel?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm gonna reverse what I just said. Okay? I'm gonna let you ask about that. Thank you, Your Honor. Don't thank me, just move on.
So you heard him say, he says, "Thank you, Your Honor." He says, "Don't thank me, just move on," right? He was being extremely mean to the man, very mean. But earlier, when they first came in, what happened, he was just going back and forth with Stillwell. For some strange reason, not Stillwell, he was with Sharp. His name is Max. He was going back and forth with Max, right? And at one point, when Max went back to his seat, Stillwell goes and says, now this is the client, this is the defendant. He goes and says, he said, that MF is tripping. I'm going to say the word. He said, okay, I'm not done. He said, that motherfucker is tripping. So the judge heard him. And the judge thought it was the attorney that said that. So he told the attorney that he is going to hold them in contempt. And so Max was asking him why. He said, okay, no. What happened is he happened to see when Max went back to his seat, after Stillwell said what he said, Stillwell said, that MF is tripping, talking about the judge, right? So Max went and fist bumped Stillwell. So the judge saw the fist bump. So that's what made him angry, right? And that's when he threatened him that he was going to throw him in jail. And so the attorney, Max, says, why? He says, because you cursed at me. And he says, no, I didn't. He says, yes, you did. And they were going back and forth. And so he says, well, the deputy heard you. He says, no, he didn't. So then the deputy got upset. Show us Max. Oh, okay. Let me show you him. Hold on. Let me go get a video of him so you can see him. Hold on. So to make a long story short, he told him that basically he's going to there was a woman who went and said that he said it, right? But he didn't put her on the stand. So he said, oh, so you're saying, the judge said, so you're saying the deputy is lying? He says, yeah, she's lying. And so, but he didn't put her on the oath so she could testify what he supposedly said, which he didn't say. It was Stillwell that said that MF is tripping. It was crazy, y'all. So he got ready to arrest him for that. And I think they just let it die down. Hold on a second. Let me show you Max. Hold on a second. Let me pull up a video so you guys could see him. Hold on. And today they they did the motion, and Jeffrey's motion was denied. We didn't get out of there till 7:30 tonight. It's been really, really horrible. But it looks like we're going to finally get to the end of the tunnel, I believe. The end is almost here, meaning the trial is going to start real soon. Hold on a second. Let me get this for you. Hold on. I'm looking for the video for you. I gotta go into my Lacey and pull up a video. Let's see if there's one of him here. I'm trying to find Max for you. Hold on. This video don't have him on here. Let's go see if I can find another one. Let's see if this is one. All right, not that one. Hold on a second. See, beginning of the year. Let's see if it's up here. Okay, let me show you him. All right, I got a picture. I got him. Hold on a second. Let me show you him. Let me put my marker on because folks will steal my stuff. Let me put my overflow on here. Hold on. Let me share it. Let's share the video. Okay. All right, I'm gonna share it. He's gonna be the guy sitting with the bald head on the other side. He's the one that he yells at all the time. Oh, you're welcome, Robin. Robin, I got some people that's been mean to me.
Yeah, now process.
Okay, you're gonna go against the wall, Robin. He's all the way up in the front. These are old footage, okay? Because you know we haven't had footage in a while.
Okay, all right.
Oh, you remember now? Okay. Hey, Sharon. Well, you know what? I'm gonna leave the thing running, but with no sound, because this is going to I don't know if I could do it with no sound. There you go, right there. That's him. That's him. That's him right there. You see him standing up? Yeah. Oh, you know what I wish I could show y'all? Okay, hold on a second. I think I could show y'all this. There's something I want to show y'all. Hold on. I can get it off my phone. I can show y'all this.
I agree.
See, we're good. Al.
Mr. Norris, anybody else? Miss anybody else? We good? Okay, all right. Council's, given the lateness of the hour and everything else, we're just gonna pick back up tomorrow morning. And we'll do that, as I mentioned earlier, tomorrow's the 20th, at 10 o'clock, and we'll go until, late in the afternoon, as much as we can. So councils, if you just have your witnesses, accordingly for tomorrow, we'll just see what we get and we'll break accordingly. And that's how we'll handle, the festivities on the 20th. As I mentioned to you earlier, originally, I had said to you councils that on the 21st, we were going to take an administrative day. I had changed my mind. We are going to, given the fact, and I'll tell you why I changed my mind, is I'm pretty transparent. I handed out the juror questionnaires from group 5 on Monday. You all got your thumb drives. I would like to, Friday the 21st at 3:30, take up joint strikes. So that should give you, that gave you yesterday, half of today, and whatever time you need to take on Thursday, and we'll do that Friday afternoon. I won't be here Friday morning either.
Okay,
so,
yeah, I'm gonna stop this.
Okay,
I'm gonna stop this. I gotta show y'all something. Hold on. I gotta show y'all something. I think I could show y'all something from today. I gotta show y'all something. Hold on. I gotta show y'all something. Okay, hold on. I was trying to show y'all a little footage from today. Let's see if it works. Oh, gosh. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it works, guys. Let's see if it works for y'all. Let's see. Let's see if it worked. Let's see.
They knew that Jeffrey Williams had been arrested, but didn't.
I was trying to see if I could play on my thing for y'all. It's not just not showing. Hold on, y'all. See if I could. I was trying to see if I can get it to play for y'all, but it's not working.
And at this point, of course, Your Honor can see and hear that he being Lieutenant Dan is calling in and is, just.
Let me see if it works. Let's see if it works. I send it to my daughter. Let's see. Hold on, y'all. I send it to my daughter on Instagram. See if we got it. If it worked. If it worked, we know how to do it. Just hold on a second, guys. I send it to her. Okay. Oh, I think it worked, y'all. I think I got it. Is it playing? Oh, God. Did it play? It's not playing, y'all.
I speak.
Let me see if I can show y'all this. I'm trying to find a way to. Anybody knows how to get it off my what's the name phone and put it onto my. Let's see if I could drop it. Share. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out a way to share this to you guys. Yeah, it's too big to go on that. Let's see. Let me see if it works on WeFile. Hold on a second. See if we got retransfer on here. See if let's transfer it. Let me see if it worked, guys. I was trying to see a way to transfer the file. You know what? I can upload it to my YouTube and see. Oh, okay. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to upload it to YouTube. And then I'll hide it. Hold on. Hold on, yeah. I think I got it. I'm going to upload it to YouTube. And then upload video. Boom. It's uploading. It's uploading. Okay, it's uploading, y'all. I think we can show it. All right, guys. I think I got it. I got it. It's from today. We're going to upload it. Hold on a second. We're going to upload it. Okay, sorry, guys. I'm trying to get this thing up to y'all. Yeah, it's a few more minutes left on this video, and then we'll be able to see it. Got 8 minutes left on the video, so we'll see it in a minute. It's the video from today's just hold on, y'all. Just hold on. I got something for you. Just hold on, okay? It says 8 more minutes. Okay, while we do that, I will play what happened today, and then I'll show you the video, okay? How's that sound? Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is them discussing the motion today. After the
you doing?
I'm doing. Something better than that, you know, you got it. And listen, if the Gators win last night, and
Hold on, y'all.
How long after you conducted the traffic stop on the Porsche was Officer Fikes able to effect the traffic stop on the vehicle following the Porsche?
They happened almost simultaneously. So after I put the LiDAR down and I pulled out onto the roadway, I asked over the radio if another unit was close because I had two vehicles that I wanted to stop. And that's when Officer Fikes was in the area. He was actually on his way home because he had already finished his shift. And since he just happened to be close, we were able to light them both up, and they were both able to stop within probably about 20 or 30 feet of one another.
That answers the next question. At the time that the vehicles were stopped, how far apart were they?
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna show you the video. Hold on. It's ready. It's ready for y'all to view. Hold on, okay, y'all. This is the video from hold on. Just 1 second, guys. All right, yeah, here it is. I got it. I uploaded. This is a short one. This is not that big, but this is something for you guys just to play around with for a bit. Okay. This is the traffic stop part. Okay. All right, here we go. This is when the police stopped Thug. See, they got Thug and Gunna sitting on the ground. That's the Porsche. That's Gunna right there, and Thug is on the other side. See, they got him on the ground. That's Gunner that you see on the curb. But Thug, you can't really see him. He's on the other side of the guy. See, Thug is in front of the police officer. They're going inside the car now to search the car. That's the Porsche. They wanted to suppress because of the gun. Did them sure? Okay, y'all. I wanted to clarify something. Remember, Gunner's plea deal when they were talking about the gun. Man, 17 of y'all nosy butt went out there and look at my video. Let me hide this. I'm gonna go delete. Let me go put it private because people went in there and started looking at my stuff. Make it private. Private. I made it private because folks are gonna go take it off. Okay, but let me stop this. Okay. I'm gonna go play it now for y'all for today.
Enough, they both would fit inside this room. And I could hear Officer Fikes as he was talking to the occupants of the other vehicle, the Dodge Charger, while I was talking to Mr. Williams in the Porsche.
When you pulled over and when you were able to effect that traffic stop on the Porsche being driven by Mr. Williams, and you said Mr. Williams, is that Mr. Jeffrey Williams?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What happened? What happened after you blue lighted and caused him to pull over?
So there's a small intersection on Buford Highway, a small road called Bramblewood, comes right off of Buford. The Porsche pulls right onto that small road, and the Charger stopped just beyond that road. So I approached the Porsche, and I spoke to Mr. Williams, who was driving, and another gentleman who was in the passenger seat. Mr. Williams told me that he didn't have his driver's license on him that day, but he was able to give me his name, and I wrote it down on a notepad so that I could go back to my car and look him up on the GCIC computer to confirm his driver's license status.
Is that something that you ordinarily do when you conduct a traffic stop?
Okay, I want to tell you guys. I was saying, remember in Gunner's plea deal, and one of the questions was asked about the gun, and he said it wasn't his. In this video right here, this testimony, it'll show you that you'll hear Thug telling the officer there was a gun in the car, and the gun belonged to him, and they were checking to see if he had any if he was a convicted felon, and then if he was, then they were going to take him in. But because he was not a convicted felon, they didn't take him in. So all those who are saying some mess about, Gunner threw him under the bus because he's saying the gun wasn't his and blah, 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 blah. The gun was registered. The gun was legal. And they let him go after they gave him 2 citations after the gun incident. So I just wanted to correct people because people putting out some false stuff out on the internet. And I just want to make sure they understand what happened, the correction of what is being said. Okay. So I'm going to play this. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Toya. Toya said, wow. Yeah. So Gunner did not, all these people talking about he took a plea deal. He's against Thug. That's not true, y'all. It's not true. Just listen to everything that's being said right here. Okay? Listen.
On a vehicle being driven by a person who claims to have no license?
Yes, my experience has been that the majority.
Okay, what happened is when they stopped Thug, they saw two cars speeding. They saw a Charger and a Porsche speeding down Buford Highway. So policemen stopped both cars. And when they stopped and they approached Thug and they asked him for his license, he didn't have a license, but he gave him his name. So when they gave him his name, they ran the information and they saw that it was him. Then he started asking him, but then the other car, the guy was giving those four guys were giving the officers a hard time, and so they caused their cars to be searched because they had marijuana and guns in the other car. Okay, if you only read and actually listened, wouldn't you say Gunner is a snitch? You wouldn't say, yeah, exactly. Tell him, AJ. Tell him, AJ. But all of them were saying that mess. But they don't. I guess reading is not fundamental for them. But okay, let me play it. But that's what they were spinning. That Gunner was a snitch and all this kind of stuff. But the thing is, listen. Okay.
Times that an individual does not have a driver's license, it tells me one of two things: that they have a warrant or a suspended license. So I will take down their name and date of birth, and I can run that through the information and then verify if the license status was good or not. In this case, Mr. Williams did have a valid license. It just wasn't with him.
Okay. How long was it between the time that you were told by Mr. Williams, I don't have my license with me, to the time that you returned to your vehicle, start looking up his information?
Very short period of time. After I got his name, I got the driver's license of the passenger of the vehicle, a gentleman named Sergio Kitchens, I believe, and then went back to my car to run the name and date of birth. While I was doing that, Officer Fikes was dealing with 4 occupants of the Dodge Charger, and while he was speaking to them, he observed at least.
All right, let's for now stick to what happened while you were trying to investigate the status of Jeffrey Williams' license. So as you went back to your car, were you able to observe what Officer Fikes was doing?
I was.
What was he doing?
He asked for assistance to deal with 4 occupants of a vehicle because they were non-compliant.
Your Honor, I'm asking what the officer was doing.
Oh,
Go ahead.
And he indicated that he could see. So this is what I was.
You have to wait. But rule on objection. Go ahead and answer the question.
And I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I could hear you.
What was Officer, since you were able to observe what Officer Fikes was doing as you went to your vehicle to check Jeffrey Williams' license status, would you tell the court what Officer Fikes was doing?
Yes. So he was getting the information from the driver of the vehicle, and I could see where he was at, and I could hear him both verbally and over the radio. He asked for other assistance to deal with a non-compliant driver and guns in the vehicle, and he was holding that vehicle at gunpoint.
Thank you. Did you walk up to the vehicle where Officer Fikes was as you went to check Jeffrey Williams' license status, or did you just go straight to your car?
So I initially went straight to my car. If I remember correctly, I can confirm with watching the video, but I went to my car, and when I saw the situation that Officer Fikes was dealing with, I positioned myself where I could see both vehicles.
I want to tell y'all, Thug challenged the police officer to run. He told him that you could outrun him. So I just want to tell y'all that. Y'all going to hear that on the recording. He was so funny. They're doing the best. They try to correlate you related evidence. Correlate you related evidence. Okay.
At the same time until he had other officers arrive to help him, and then I could continue with the white Porsche.
Had you entered your car to begin this check on the status of Jeffrey Williams' license before you positioned yourself to see both vehicles?
If I remember correctly, I believe I had.
And at the time that you positioned yourself to see both vehicles, had you the information that you needed to wrap up your stop with Jeffrey Williams? Did you have that information yet? Had you finished your?
No, I hadn't finished it yet because what I had to do was do the GCIC check, and then I was going to issue 2 citations, one for the speeding violation and one for the not having a license on person violation. And in order to populate all the information from the GCIC driver's license check onto the citations and then print out 2 copies of each, that takes probably about between 7 and 10 minutes in that area, and that much time had not occurred yet.
Are you standing there watching both vehicles until someone arrives to assist Officer Fikes?
Yes, I didn't want to, if I had approached the Dodge Charger to assist Officer Fikes, I would have had to have turned my back to the vehicle, to the Porsche. And I hadn't finished confirming the identity of the individuals, and my worry was that if there were guns in one car, there would be guns in the other vehicle, and I didn't want to put my back to the white Porsche by assisting with the Charger. So I just kind of kept them both in view, making sure that Officer Fikes' situation didn't escalate anymore, and I could keep a visual on a total of 6 occupants of the 2 vehicles all at once.
So is there anyone else in the vehicle with Mr. Kitchens and Mr. Williams besides those 2?
There were just 2 people in that car.
Would you tell the court approximately how long you stood watching both the vehicle-driven, the white Charger and the Porsche that you had stopped? How long did you sit there with your eyes on those 2 vehicles?
It was, I'm guesstimating, and I can confirm if we were to watch the video, but probably 2-3 minutes or less. This was a very non-busy night on uniform patrol. And as the sergeant on duty, if it had been a busy night, if officers were committed to a lot of different things, I wouldn't have been running LiDAR. I only do that when it's not very busy.
That's the same question. You can rephrase.
Okay. So you watched both vehicles until someone came up to assist Officer Fikes?
Correct.
How long was it until someone came up to assist Officer Fikes?
That's the same question. That's already been asked and answered.
Once someone came to assist Officer Fikes, what did you do?
So once the officers that arrived to help Officer Fikes were able to ensure that all the
Okay. To answer your question, 37LML, the reason why they use Khalif Adams, because Adams was the first name in alphabetical order in the RICO case. His name, they did in alphabetical order and they put his name first. That's why. He was Adams and they just never took his name off. That's why. It makes it easier. Instead of calling everybody's name, they call one name and it's for everybody that's on it. He was the first person, as in first, the last name is A. Okay.
guns and the occupants of the other vehicle were separated, I returned my attention to the white Porsche. As I was issuing the citations for that, Officer Fikes also approached the Porsche that I was dealing with because he was familiar with the occupants, or at least the driver. So he had a conversation with them while I was finishing up the issuance of the citations.
So we already asked about how long it took for the officers to get there from the time that you started watching the two vehicles. How long did it take for the officers, to your satisfaction, to ensure that the vehicle, the Dodge Charger, had been secured?
Maybe in the area of 4 to 5 minutes or so is best I can remember.
Is it accurate then that in about, Your Honor, I'm asking a question, I'm not suggesting the answer, which is the only definition of a leading question that I'm aware of.
Okay. I'm also sustaining objection, so
Your Honor,
just rephrase it, okay?
I will, Your Honor, and I will also point to case law at a later time that says.
Who, what, when, where, why? Direct, John Direct, okay? Unless it's a leading issue as to a preliminary matter, it's leading.
So how long total was it from the time that you began watching the two vehicles, encompassing the time that it took the officers to secure the Dodge Charger, was it before you were able to start checking the status of Jeffrey Williams' license?
Estimating maybe 7 to 10 minutes in that area.
And then when you started checking the status of Jeffrey Williams' license, what happened? Tell the court what took place step by step as it relates to the license check, and you mentioned Officer Fikes conversing with Jeffrey Williams.
Sure.
What happened?
So as I was doing the license or checking the license and then auto-populating the information from the license onto the 2 different citations I was issuing, Officer Fikes was carrying on a conversation with the occupants of the Porsche. During that encounter, 2 additional firearms were discovered in the vehicle, the white Porsche.
Okay.
Officer Fikes also did a canine open air sniff of his canine around the vehicle, which did not cause an alert. The occupants of the vehicle gave Officer Fikes.
I'm gonna overrule that objection. Go ahead and answer the question, sir.
Yes, sir. There was a voluntary consent.
Yeah, I'll hear that. I'm not.
The occupants gave Officer Fikes what now?
A consent to search the vehicle, and there were 2 firearms discovered in the vehicle. Those firearms were checked via GCIC. Nothing came back stolen. They were returned to the occupants of the vehicle.
Who checked the firearms on GCIC?
If I remember correctly, it was Officer Fikes.
During the time that Officer Fikes ran his canine around the Porsche, what were you doing?
I was completing the citations on the driver.
Did Officer Fikes run his canine around the Charger?
He did.
Was that before or after he ran the canine around the Porsche?
I believe he did the Charger first.
To your knowledge, did the canine alert on either vehicle?
It did on the Charger, but it did not on the Porsche.
Oh.
And you have to excuse me if I'm remembering correctly, there may have not been a canine walked around or an open air sniff on the Charger, but the dog did come out of the patrol car while Officer Fikes was encountering the Charger. But the initiation of that, if I remember correctly, may have been because the driver wasn't showing his hands at first and a gun had been observed in the vehicle. So, but either way, I know that the canine walked around the Porsche and it did not alert.
Did you hear or see any indication from occupants of either vehicle which gave you the impression that the 2 vehicles were traveling together?
Yes, the occupants of the Dodge Charger openly discussed how they worked for a music artist, Jeffrey Williams, who was the driver of my vehicle. And when I had issued the citations to Mr. Williams, he inquired on the status of the Dodge Charger if the occupants of it were going to be okay.
How long did it take you to run the license check on Jeffrey Williams' license status and then to populate the fields which were necessary to be populated in order to issue the citations, and then to give to Jeffrey Williams whatever citations you gave to him that night?
So those steps right there, if uninterrupted, probably take within that 7 to 10 minute area. Because of the interruption that occurred between the time I started to check his license status and printing the citations out, there was a delay. But that process right there is that 7 to 10 minute area.
Approximately how much longer, what length of time was added to that process that would ordinarily take 7 to 10 minutes as a result of the guns being found?
My guesstimate, without going back and looking at the video right now, is that the white Porsche was on scene, detained for the stop, probably in the area of 20 minutes or so.
Is that then the length of time that it took from when you first stopped the Porsche to the time that you submitted or gave to Jeffrey Williams the citation?
Yes, about that.
What happened after you issued the citation?
After I gave Mr. Williams the citations, he was released, and the Porsche with Mr. Williams driving and its original occupant of the front seat were free to leave. So they left, but a bigger investigation had been launched onto the occupants of the Charger and items that were found in the Charger.
After you released or after you gave Jeffrey Williams the citations and told him that he was free to leave and he left, did you have any other interactions with Jeffrey Williams that night?
No.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just one moment, please.
Now here comes Steele.
For now, that's all I have.
Cross. Morning, sir.
Morning.
Thanks again for what you do for everyone. Serve everybody. I heard you testify several times. Something that
He messed up in the beginning.
So Brookhaven officers they wear a body cam right here on our uniform, and we have a dash cam as well. And there's footage from my patrol vehicle and the body cam that I had on that night.
that we come to accountable, there's a land of that's testimony, understanding that saying video like that's them.
Yeah, I've seen the video, but my memory on the time lapse of everything would be refined a little bit with just if we were just watching it and time it itself. But the times I've given were kind of guesstimates based off my recollection of that.
He's gonna get better, y'all, because I went downstairs to complain.
So I don't have it myself, but I will be able to see it and recognize it.
He's gonna get better. I promise y'all.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Why don't you let it play? I mean, it hasn't really been identified, so you probably need to, at least either preview it there or just have it marked, or have it, just go ahead and open it and see if he recognizes it.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, I don't know if I was by to. Okay.
It's gonna get better. I promise.
Yes, he was. Is that better? Okay, I apologize.
See? Told y'all.
I'm gonna repeat the last question for Mr. Harvey.
For Mr. Harvey, sure, why not?
Was Mr. Williams fully cooperative in your observations during this traffic stop? Yes, sir. And the passenger you stated in the Porsche, the white Porsche, was a gentleman named Mr. Kitchens. Remember that? Yes, sir. You said you believed it was Mr. Kitchens, but if it's wrong, that's fine. That's who you believe it to be. Was that person fully cooperative from your observations? Yes. And is it fair to say that there was nothing more here than a traffic stop for speeding and what became a driver without his physical license at that time? I wouldn't say it was more than that. It was two traffic stops at the same time, and my initial suspicion was that the manner in which they were driving so close to one another at the consistent speed led me to believe that the two vehicles were related to one another or companions traveling together in two separate vehicles. So other than that, it was a traffic stop on two vehicles. That's fine, but let's focus on the white Porsche, because that's driven by Mr. Williams, right? Yes, okay. No odor of marijuana coming from that car that you detected? True. Not that I remember, no. And no other basis of the stop except for what you said, the speeding, and then eventually not the physical license on Mr. Williams who's the driver, correct? Correct, yeah. The stop was for the speeding and then a little extra investigation into the identification of the driver. Okay. Now, we're going to show the body camera when the department says that we can do it. Let's see if we can do it.
They get ready to play the video. That's why the pause is on. Takes them a long time to get this started, right?
Go ahead, Mr. Parker, try it now. Yes, sir.
Having an issue. They're having an issue with the video. In the meantime, how's everyone doing?
Yes, and then Lieutenant, if this is not accurate or not something recognized, you gotta tell us, okay? Because I'm going to then move it into evidence based upon your testimony. Okay, it is accurate. Okay. Yes, that would be great. There's audio too. Am I correct? There's audio.
There is audio. It should kick on. Generally, the video footage itself starts 30 seconds prior to the moment you activate, but the audio doesn't start until the moment you activate, so it should kick on in about 30 seconds.
Okay. So I want you to orient yourself, make sure that what we're showing is accurate from your either dash camera or your body camera or both. Okay. Okay. All right. And thank you, Mr. Parker.
Hey, how y'all doing? Good, I'm Sergeant Gann with Brookhaven Police Department. You have your driver's license on you? No, I can't. I only had a fucking mixtape Jeep on right in the club. I left all the shit at the studio. Who brought my name off?
That's
You got
Thug
your
talking.
license? Yes. Okay, is it valid? Yes.
Can you stop for 1 second, sir? Lieutenant, and I don't see a number. You see a number? Oh, yes. Yes, sir. You see it says 39 second there, 00:39?
Yes, sir.
All right. Is that you, and is this the traffic stop May 18, 2018 that you've been testifying to or concerned before the honorable Judge Randall?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is this from
This is from my body cam.
all right, and is this, I know we can do the whole thing if we want to, but is this, what you talking about, is this accurate?
Yes, this is the footage from the incident we've been discussing.
Your Honor, unless something changes, I would like to move and then play without hesitation. Mr. Williams, number 1 dated today.
Any objection to Williams 1?
No, not at all.
Williams 1's a bit first.
And just because the timing may be an issue here, times, remember, now Ms. Love's asking about times,
Yeah, the times were from my recollection, so it may be different on the video.
and the video is better or your recollection is better?
The video will be better.
All right, so we're starting at basically 0, and then the first words were approximately 30 seconds, like you said. Correct. Okay, we're going to continue. If you need it to be rewound or not rewound, it's gone over, but gone back, just let us know. Right, if you don't mind, at 0039 to continue.
All right, what's your last name? And your first name? Spell that for me. Okay. What's your date of birth? 8/16 of 91. All right. How about you? Do you have any ID on you?
And that gentleman that you're shining the flashlight on, you recognize who that is?
I believe that's Mr. Kitchens.
Thank you. No other occupants of that vehicle to your memory?
Correct.
Oh, you know why I stopped you guys? Speeding. I got you parked at 69 in the 45 miles per hour zone. Okay. Is your car registered? Will it come back to you? Okay. All right. Don't hold tight for me. All right.
If you could stop it right now, Mr. Partridge. Do you see what numbers on the screen as far as the court, or this goes up to an appellate court? They could circle with us what number that was, what time that was.
As I'm returning my vehicle?
Yeah.
Minute 40.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Can you see in the minute 40, as you called it, the other stop that you were referring to earlier?
You can. The back of that other patrol vehicle, so the vehicle that's right in front of the camera is my patrol vehicle. And the patrol vehicle that's a little bit on the right side of the screen, that's Officer Fikes' vehicle. And the Dodge Charger is right in front of that vehicle.
And that's what you described earlier, where you can potentially have a view of both vehicles at the same time.
Yes.
Okay. With the court's permission, Mr. Parcher, can you continue this display? Mr. Williams, come forward.
It's hard to tell because they showing the video and most of the time he keeps muting his body cam. So what you're hearing is stuff coming from the body cam. It's taking their time. Hey, Emmanuel, this is crazy. They wanted to look up attorney defending their client. Who wanted to look up the attorney? Who was in here? Tall Glass. Hold on, I gotta put mute for a minute. Hold on, I gotta stop it for a minute. Tall Glass, you asked me about the list, right? Tall Glass, you asked me about the list, right? Guess what? Everything's still not finalized. So they're going to address the motion, the violation motion that Mr. Steele put in. So they're going to talk about that on Tuesday. Yep. They're going to talk about it on Tuesday. So I hope they have a, please let them have a cameraman next week. Please let them have a cameraman. He does. Please let them have a cameraman. Was it you or was it Toya? Was it you that asked? It might have been Toya that asked. Whoever asked, I'm answering the question. I thought it was you that asked Tall Glass, but it might have been Toya. Yeah, it was somebody with a T. Okay, here we go. Oh, I want to show y'all too. Hold on, y'all. I want to show you the motion the attorney's putting in for me. Hold on. Let me show y'all. I'm going to show y'all the motion she putting in for me. Look at this. I'm going to show y'all my motion. So I will be part of this case history. Okay, look. Y'all see that? Affidavit to Sylvia Tumasimi. Personally appears before me an officer duly authorized by law to administer oath, Sylvia Tumasimi, who, after being sworn and under penalty, state the following. 1. My name is Sylvia Tumasimi. I am over the age of 18 and am competent and provide this affidavit in support of the above capture lawsuit. I have been covering the criminal trial for Jeffrey William the trial in Fulton County Superior Court for my vlogging, infamous Sylvia, since the trial began earlier this year. Number 3, I gave him the date. On blank, the court approved my Rule 22, allowing me to record images and audio during all remaining trial proceedings. Number 4, starting in February, the courtroom deputy began denying me entry to the courtroom to observe the trial. They told me that I was being denied entry for my protection. However, other people, including other journalists and several legal interns, were allowed in the courtroom on the same days I was denied access. Number 5, based on my observation of the court's deputy, it appears to me that women were more barred from the courtroom during the trial, while men were more often permitted entry. Number 6, since February, the courtroom deputies have continued to direct me to observe the trial from the court's media observation room or the overflow room. I have not been permitted to return to the courtroom to observe the trial in person. Number 7, on several occasions, I have tried to access the media observation room and found it not open. It was not open. Number 8, I have also attempted to observe the trial from the court's overflow room. However, there are significant technical problems with the video and audio feed in the overflow room. From that room, observers are unable to hear any audio from the prosecutor's mic. The audio from the remaining trial participant cuts in and out. Number 9, because I am a vlogger, it is very important for me to be able to make audio and visual recording of the trial. I am unable to make those recordings from the media observation room and the overflow room. Number 10, the media observation room and the overflow room are not adequate substitute to access the courtroom itself. Sitting in those rooms, I am unable to hear or record important aspects of the trial, and I am unable to observe the totality of the proceedings. If I am not allowed to access the courtroom itself, it will severely prejudice my ability to cover the trial. Further swearing affidavit saith nah, so be to receive me. Y'all see that? You see that, y'all? Did y'all see that? Y'all see that? Sandy said, this case is going to end up in a hung jury. The evidence is sloppy. Jury will not go for it. Prosecutor Love is hiding a lot of evidence to protect important witnesses. So y'all saw that? Okay, so let me go back to that. Was my affidavits for my filing. What do y'all think? That attorney costs a pretty penny. You want to see the contract? Let me show you the contract. I ain't paying for it. I ain't paying for it, y'all. I'm just part of it. God gave me favor. God gave me favor. She's very expensive. Very expensive. Almost $500 an hour. It's lots of money. Okay, let me play. Are y'all listening to me? Here we go. We're waiting.
Okay.
They come out here, some traffic stops for an hour.
These two cars were tandem, at 69 and 45. They're together. They're coming from the club. They got a gun up there. The driver's not listening very well. This guy, driver, does not have a driver. It doesn't have a.
Okay, I may have stopped too soon. If you need to continue, you can just let us know. And it's stopped at 05:04. Is that correct?
Yes.
At that point in time, is that your voice?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and are you alerting to or talking about the Porsche, Mr. Williams, or are you talking about the Dodge Charger?
The gun that I was referring to in the audio portion is I'm referring to what's going on in the Dodge Charger.
Okay, and there was a delay, I don't know if that's the right word, but there was a time lapse when it appears on the screen that you were not running, and if you were, just correct me, but you were not seemingly running Mr. Kitchens or Mr. Williams. So can you explain what you were doing?
Sure. The delay, particularly when my body cam is facing towards that house that we kind of saw sitting on the hill, that's when I am positioned. Now my body cam is here, but the Porsche is off here to my right and the Charger is off here to my left. And I can watch both like this, but of course my body cam, it's just, my head's turning, but my body's not. So that's why you see the house, but I'm watching the two things that are going on at once. And there was some radio traffic that you could hear up until this point. There's two additional officers that you heard show up at the scene. And my voice right now talking is briefing one of those officers on what's going on so that they would know what to do.
Okay. And do you remember from this exhibit number one that Mr. Williams stated today, when either or both of those officers arrived at that scene time-wise on your body camera?
So there's one officer that you can see as I'm walking back from the Porsche back to my patrol vehicle, who's showing up behind my vehicle. So you see a Ford sedan police vehicle. I don't remember whose vehicle that was yet, but by the time I'm returning back to my car, there's it looks like the third officer's arriving on scene.
Okay, and those are the backups, if that's the right word, that you were waiting for to ensure that Officer Fikes is going to be okay.
That may have just been an officer, and this is me, because at that point, as far as I know, if I remember correctly, Officer Fikes hasn't started interacting with the Charger based off his observation of the firearm. So that may have just been an officer that heard their supervisor do a traffic stop and comes to help, because that's a regular protocol as well. Or if a supervisor does a traffic stop, an officer will generally show up to see if they can help out.
Sure. Okay. It's teammates. You guys are teammates.
Right.
You try to help each other. Okay. So at what point is it that there were officers to help Officer Fikes, even though at this point no one knew that there was any issue with a gun in the charge?
Right. So there.
Part of that,
I was saying this for me. As to the Charger only, at what point, if you can tell, time-wise is what I'm talking about, by the way, is other officers assisting Officer Fikes?
Based off the radio traffic, it sounds like they're starting to arrive between that 3 to 5 minute area. I heard two officer voices that I recognized coming over the radio traffic reported on the video.
Okay. And we have 140, if my memory's right, whatever the video is, but I believe it should be 140 if you're taking notes, when you left the Porsche. Yes, and went back to your vehicles. That sound right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and how long after that, if you can tell us, and if you need the video again, you can show it by camera / vehicle dash camera. How long until the other officers arrive?
Well, one was there at the 140 because you see them as I'm walking back. But then a couple others somewhere in that 4 to 5 minute area.
Okay, well, we're at 5:40 right now, so we stopped it. And if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. We're at, actually, I'm wrong. It's 5:04 right now when we stopped it. Is at this point, are there other officers with officer files?
There should be, yes.
Okay, and what are you about to do? If you remember, if you need to see the recording, we're going to continue.
I'm still kind of watching both, and we can confirm my memory with the footage. But there were initially, even after a couple officers showed up, there were more occupants of the Dodge Charger than there were officers on scene. And as that investigation was progressing, more and more firearms were being found inside the vehicle. So more and more officers were coming. So I was still monitoring both vehicles. And it should be kind of recognized that the driver of the Charger was stopped because of my investigation. So I was still responsible for ensuring that the vehicle was dealt with, but that driver also received his citation for speeding, but I just hadn't gotten to them yet. So I'm kind of monitoring what's going on with the Charger to make sure that the driver of that vehicle inevitably gets his citation, but I'm still trying to deal with Jeffrey Williams in the Porsche first. Okay. So it's kind of a little bit of multitasking going on.
Okay. We're going to, unless you tell me we need to not go on, we're going to continue the court's commission from 5:04.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Partridge, if you don't mind.
The idea on this person right now, so what we're working on really is, it's a 2018. Peter, come over here.
You remember by watching the video recording as explained here, what you're doing at this point?
This is when I'm accessing the GCIC computer for driver's license status.
Thank you. And that's concerned Mr. Williams, Mr. Kitchen,
Yes, sir.
thank you, sir. If you could tell us, if you can tell, when to stop it when you get back information from GCIC on Mr. Williams' valid driver's license.
I might not be able to know that from the video footage without seeing the screen itself.
Okay, if you can.
keeps reaching.
If we could just stop.
Guy in black hoodie keeps reaching in his pocket.
And if we stop at 7:46, is that fair to say, Lieutenant? Yes, okay. And that's your voice telling another officer, the guy in the black hoodie is reaching or something like that?
Correct.
All right. And he keeps putting his hand in his pocket, you remember? Does that sound right?
I didn't remember that until watching it just now, but
That's what's captured, it seems to be what's captured.
yes.
Okay. And that's concerning the person with the charger, occupant of the charger.
Correct.
All right. Since we stopped it at approximately we're at 7:46, can you tell from seeing your computer and what you're doing, whether you finished the GCIC at that point?
I can't tell for sure, and I can't see the screen. But that's what I'm working on. When I reach over like this is when I'm typing to enter information. But you can tell that I'm doing that while also watching the Porsche and the Charger, because of the amount of people and the presence of the firearms and stuff like that. So it's hard to say exactly when the result for the driver's license status showed back up on the screen.
Okay. And when you, because there's a record being made, when you said, when I'm reaching like this, is it fair to say if I'm wrong, you're sitting in your patrol car and you see your watch on your left hand reaching over to type into your computer that's in your vehicle?
That's correct.
And that's what you were referring to? Yes. Mr. Partridge, if we could continue from 7:46, if you don't mind. And Lieutenant, you can help us walk through.
What you're saying right now, handful of people below me.
Thank you.
We got another hand right here, we're good over here, this is two hands so far, they need to work.
Hey, Vice, I'm sure you're busy, but you get ready. I'd like to answer that next one as well.
Can you stop it right there, Mr. Partridge? It stopped at 8:46, I believe. 8:45, rather. Lieutenant, can you tell at this point in time whether you have gotten the data back that Mr. Williams' license is valid?
I can't tell for sure. The response generally doesn't take more than a few seconds or so. So if the first time you saw me reach over and type, the information went in, I could guess that it might.
And let me just say, based upon your experience with this, I stand objection. Okay. Did you, to the best knowledge, including obviously Mr. Williams, number one, did you receive back the validity of his license from the GCIC inquiry that you made?
Yeah, the GCIC inquiry did show that he had a valid license.
And at this point in time, I stopped it at 8:46 or at Mr. Partridge, 8:45. Mr. Partridge, did you have that information of the license is valid? That's not asking the question. He is not asked. I got confused. I apologize. I'm asking whether this lieutenant knows whether he received information back from GCIC. It's not been answered. I don't remember the answer. He said based upon typical, and then you sustained an objection.
I don't recall, so I'm gonna have to ask, I don't have my benefit at this point. So, Lieutenant, do you recall whether or not at this point in time you received information back from GCIC?
I don't recall specifically, but based on the way I'm interacting with the screen,
my assumption would be that this is where I started to complete the citations.
Okay. And just so the court can know, and if it goes up on an appeal, I don't know if you're talking about, but that's your record. Which citations are you talking about?
We, two citations, one for speeding and one for not having the driver's license on the person.
Okay. And I think you already testified to it, so I'm not trying to repeat, but how long does it generally take, and we're going to talk specifics on this case, to get the citation?
Generally, like an uninterrupted traffic stop, is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
So uninterrupted traffic stop, if everything goes to plan and the person has their driver's license on them.
No. They don't have a driver's license. GCIC came back. Now you're writing the citations.
You're looking probably in that 7 to 10 minute area or so.
That whole thing.
Yeah, about that.
All right. How about after, at this point, when you know that the license is valid, that you are issuing the citation?
Yes, because you're going to explain that question. Facts that are not in evidence.
That's the same question. We're going to phrase it. It's fine. I think it'll clear up right now. If we can play Mr. Partridge at 8:45. Oh, let me stop. Let me stop it 1 second. Thank you. You said, I believe around 8:35, we could go back. I think you gave a command to Officer Fikes that you wanted a dog search on the Porsche. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I asked him if he had a moment, if he could come and walk the dog around the Porsche as well.
Now, at that point in time, what information did you have that the court, is it a drug dog?
It is.
Okay. What information did you have at that time that the Porsche, driven by Mr. Williams, had any type of drug involved?
I don't think I had any knowledge of any type of drug in the vehicle. And I know inevitably drugs were found in the other vehicle, but I'm not sure if I was aware at this point. I don't recall if I was aware yet that the other drugs had been found in the other vehicle. What I do know though is that I wouldn't have expected Fikes to leave the Charger and to come deal with the Porsche until all the drivers or all the occupants of the other vehicle were secured.
Of the Charger?
Of the Charger. And it was during the securing of all those occupants that the other officers on the scene began locating multiple containers of drugs in that Charger.
And what evidence did you have at this point in time that Mr. Williams was involved in any way with any of the contents, illegal contents of the Charger?
Oh, I didn't know. My assumption at the point was that the two vehicles were traveling together because they were all companions. And throughout the investigation, those suspicions became confirmed.
But go back to my question. I think you answered it, but just answer it directly if you don't mind. What information did you have at that time of asking Officer Fikes to take the drug dog around the Porsche that Mr. Williams or the vehicle was involved, or Mr. Kitchen, I guess, was involved in any type of drug activity?
Objection, ask and answer.
That is the answer now. Okay. All right. So, your purpose of asking the drug dog to search the Porsche was just a hunch?
Objection, ask and answer.
I don't think answer that. I don't want to answer that.
So it was more than a hunch. The hunch initially was that the two vehicles were traveling together. But after that occurred, the investigation began expanding. It began expanding with the two vehicles stopping together. The driver of the Charger was initially uncompliant with Officer Fikes' commands at the same time that he's observing a firearm in the vehicle. As other officers are arriving, and I'm still watching both vehicles while completing and getting Mr. Williams' citations, his driver's license status and his citations. I'm still watching both vehicles. You can hear me direct one of the other officers, backup officers, that one of the occupants of the Charger was reaching into his pocket. So I'm still observing both those things. And I do know, I can't recall off the top of my head the exact moment on this timeline, whereas I knew drugs were in the Charger. But as those occupants are being detained in handcuffs,
numerous or multiple guns
Those
are
are
found.
counts of the charge.
Of the charger, yep, were all detained in handcuffs. As they're being detained in handcuffs, each one of those occupants of the charger was found to be in possession of a firearm. As they're securing those, drugs are being found. So there's multiple things kind of all happening at once that I'm trying to monitor. So the only hunch was the initial hunch that the two vehicles were traveling together, but everything after that new information began presenting itself, and more events needed to be dealt with as the traffic stop progressed.
At 8:35, and that's what I wrote down, Mr. Williams, number one, your body camera. I did not hear anything about any guns or drugs in the charger. Did you? And if yes, do you remember where that was?
Yes, at 5:15-ish, you can hear Fikes coming over the radio with some urgency in his voice, saying something about a gun and requesting another officer up to the charger where he's at.
Okay, how about drugs?
I don't think I've heard anything about drugs on the radio yet.
And I target the 835 because that's where you asked Officer Fikes or maybe commands to have the drug dog go on the Porsche, right?
Yeah, I asked him then, but I wouldn't have deterred him while he was still dealing with 4 occupants that are all armed of another vehicle. So I had to wait until the appropriate time to ask him that.
I understand. Okay. We're going to continue at 8, I think it's 8:33, it looks like on the switch.
Hey, Fikes, I'm sure you're busy. When you get ready, I'd like to canine search on this one as well.
Hey, but you want to take a look at it?
They ran together?
Yeah, they were together.
Are they like together then?
I haven't asked them formally, but I believe they were all together.
Okay, so you got three guns in that.
Okay. I mean, he's searching on this one. These two are, the driver doesn't have his ID on him, but I'm pretty certain that it's him, the name you gave me. The passenger, he's got his ID on him, but I haven't got him out. I haven't done anything else because I've just been kind of waiting on things to calm down.
They had the same fronts and everything, so
Yeah.
they come from the same place.
He told me they just came from the studio.
He's passenger was looking around,
The driver at this one's really nervous.
really nervous.
Yeah.
If you could stop it 1 second. And that should be at, stop at 10:57. At that point in time, did you hear anything about drugs? Today, the whole thing?
During this conversation, no.
Any conversation?
So I can't say for sure if I could hear conversation taking place between the other officers at their stop. So
the human ear picks up sound better than the device, the body cam. So during all of this footage, what you'll notice is all the conversation that's taking place at the charger, you could hear in person, but it's not showing up on the body cam.
Okay, well, let's do it this way. At 10:57 is where I think I stopped it. You said the drivers were really nervous. You remember saying something like that?
Now that I've seen it on video, yes.
And which driver?
The driver, I was referring to the driver of the charger, or I'm sorry, the Porsche, Mr. Williams.
And besides nervousness, again, no guns, no drugs at this point. In the Porsche, I'm not the Porsche.
No, and you can hear me on this footage, I tell the other officer that I'm briefing, that I had not found anything or done any extra investigation at all on the Porsche, that I was still just working on identifying the driver.
Now, does this refresh your memory at the 10:57 stopping point that you had already gotten back the GCI's information, Mr. Williams, at Valley House?
Yeah, because you hear me, I'm comparing the photo that shows up on the screen to the interaction that I had with him at the window, and trying to make sure that the faces match one another.
Yeah. And you did that.
Based on my comments on the video, I believed it was the same person.
Sure. That's what we heard. Okay, we're going to continue at 10:57 with the court.
Okay.
How many people are in this one?
2 and then 1.
Okay, look at 4 guns in that car. And weed and smells so far. I haven't seen weed and smell it.
This one, the driver is really nervous. They were traveling together. So,
Okay.
I just haven't had.
You want to pull them out?
Yeah, once everyone there's the thing that everyone, and we can
Take
take
out
out.
the paint. That's 4 off down the road. But in acres. One can some money in my pocket. That's all I'm just leave there until we can.
Go ahead and stop it. It's stopped at 11:45. Who is that speaking that said one of them has got a ton of money in his front pocket? So tell him just leave it there until we finish. Do you remember who that is?
That's Officer Pikes.
And who is he referring to if you know?
I don't remember. One of the occupants of the charger.
Okay. If you could continue where we just stopped, which I think is at 11:45.
Well, when I saw that gun up on the back on the passenger side, I asked one there any more in the car, and everybody said no. It's not 3 2 of them had it in the night.
It's 12:03. Lieutenant, did you hear, and I believe that you tell us, so Officer Fike said, when I saw that gun in the back passenger side on the floorboard, I asked them if there were any more guns. They said no, but we found 3 more. 2 of them have extended magazines. That's what I heard. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And talking about again,
The charger, yes.
all right. At this point on the body camera, and whatever time we just stopped it, which I think is at 12:03, any reasonable suspicion, you know what that comes to? Did you have any reason to believe that the Porsche, besides he was driving with the charger, you said that, had anything to do with drugs or guns at that point in time?
Well, I think, so at 11:11, you hear Officer Fikes tell me that he could see and smell weed in the car, and then he talks about the firearms before and after. So
Let's just make it clear, I don't mean to interrupt. I wasn't gonna pose a question. If we can, Your Honor, can you ask Lieutenant, excuse me 1 second. I'm not misled. You're Officer Lamar. Your Honor, instead of saying, my question to the court is, can you please ask Lieutenant to, instead of saying the vehicle, because we're dealing with two different vehicles, just which vehicle it's on, that's what I wanted to ask. Well, I tried. Do you remember the question?
No, can you ask again?
Yes.
Thanks.
At this point in time, which I think is 12:03, besides the fact that you already told us that two cars are driving, you're being in tandem.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about that. I'm not going to disappoint.
Okay.
But besides that, what information do you have that you can tell us, honorable court, that Mr. Williams or his vehicle, including Mr. Kitchen, was involved in any type of illegal activity besides the speeding and the driving without the license on?
So I wouldn't be able to say yet, because by this point, like as we discussed, I had the hunch that they were traveling together. But then just about a minute or two earlier, we also established they were coming from the same place. So coming from the same place and traveling together, and multiple guns and marijuana, and it's irrelevant, but a large amount of cash. The cash wasn't a huge thing to me at the moment. But all those things together confirmed with the knowledge that they were coming from the same place now. So I was unable, just because they were in two different vehicles, I was unable to say, yep, because so far we found this and that car, so those people are innocent, so I gotta let them go. I hadn't reached that point in the investigation yet. It was still in the area of issuing citations and then just new constant information coming in from the other vehicle. But when you consider that with the fact that it's my traffic stop on two vehicles at the same time, so I'm responsible for both, I have not determined that the Porsche was unrelated to the activity that we were already finding in the Charger.
Okay. And please correct me. But didn't Officer Fikes actually make the stop on the Charger?
He did at my request, yes.
I understand. But he's the one who flew by that car.
Yes.
All right, let's continue at 12:03. That's okay. We sound cool.
All the gun bearing your friend, see,
Okay.
all right. Let's go. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. Get them out. And take them all over here. And just walk the dog around this one. Put them on with her ready?
Okay, we can stop it right now. Stop at 12:40. Lieutenant, that is your voice asking or directing maybe Officer Fikes, that you said something effective, quote, what I want to do is walk the dog around this one, me and the Porsche. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And you were also ordering, through Officer Fikes, that Mr. Williams and Mr. Kitchens be removed from the car and put on the curb. Is that fair to say?
Yes. So just to our left of this shot that we're at right now, there's a sidewalk that you could stand on and be out of the roadway. So I thought that would be the best spot for everybody to stand out of the road.
Okay. And this is 12:42 that we stopped the recording. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. And at that point in time, what was going on with this citation? Or the two citations?
I was still working on completing them. The citations, there's different blocks you have to fill in and populate, and it just takes a few minutes to get through that. So that's what you see me working on as I'm over there typing.
And that's still a couple of minutes, which I think you said is 2 to 3 minutes. Is that fair to say?
To do the citations, the 7 to 10.
Well, within the 7 to 10 is what I thought you said. Then 2 to 3 minutes to do the citation. If I'm wrong, you gotta tell me.
Yeah, no, you're wrong. So the citation, once you get the driver's license status to the time that, and you'll see me eventually on the camera do it, but
but the citation is printed out and it's ripped out of the little printer that's in the center console. That process generally, if uninterrupted, is in that 7 to 10 minute area.
From the start to the end, ripping out.
Right, from the start where you get the GCIC confirmation. Yes.
And when we stopped at 12:42, you already had the confirmation that you testified, and now you were issuing or in the process of issuing the citation.
Yeah, at this point, I'm still getting them filled out on the computer so that when it prints, all the information is on it.
Okay. And that entire process, when you went back to your car at 1:40, if uninterrupted, should be about a maximum 10 minutes if everything went perfect.
If it was uninterrupted and it was only had one driver stopped, that is a pretty good estimate of the time.
And I didn't need to make it 7 to 10 minutes, but you said I didn't need to change.
Right.
Okay. If we could continue 12:42.
Anyone living in containment comes here. We should have it now. Every time we're doing it, no, yeah.
Can you stop right now at 12:52? Can you just give us a little hard to hear? I've listened to it several times, but court may have a hard time hearing or other parties. Do you remember what you said, and if it refreshes your memory to Officer Fikes?
I was telling him that the occupants of the Porsche shouldn't be handcuffed yet. And that was just because I didn't have probable cause to detain them, and I didn't have any knowledge of firearms or anything dangerous inside that vehicle. And up until that point, they had been they've been compliant. They gave the information. So Mr. Williams and Mr. Kitchens were treated differently than the occupants of the Charger because of what had been discovered in the Charger.
Okay, and if we can, Attorney Partridge, 12:52, if we could continue with the court's permission, Mr. Williams, number 1.
Are there any firearms in this car? Firearms. There's firearms in this one as well? Don't reach for them, but all right, just tell me where they're at. Okay, you're okay, listen up. So it's under the seat? Just leave it on the phone. Yeah, like that's on my car. Okay. All right. What's in your front pocket right there? Right here? Well, yeah, on both sides. It's phone. Phone. Both. Yeah. Okay. All right. You can put your money back in your pocket. You know, you never make sense that the way. All right, what about marijuana? Is there any marijuana in the car? None at all? Okay. What we're gonna do is, we have a K9 here. K9's just gonna walk around the car, all right? But I don't want him to make you nervous or anything, so I'm gonna have you step out over here. Is that all right? Okay.
If you could stop at turn pocket. And we stopped at 14:20, Lieutenant. Lieutenant, is this you speaking with Mr. Williams at the driver's side of the white Porsche?
It is.
Okay. And Mr. Williams continues to be cooperative?
Yes.
And you ordered him out of the vehicle, is that fair to say?
Well, I haven't gotten to an order. It was more of I even asked him, is that okay? So, and he agreed, so that's what we did.
You think that's consent?
Well, it was posed as a question and an agreement that he agreed to do. And I explained to him why I was asking about the dog being close to them and everything like that. So it was kind of an agreement that we had. But at the same time, the legal authority would be there to order someone out of the vehicle or traffic stop either way, but it didn't even get that far.
But the reason you ordered him out of the vehicle, I think you said, was because you were having a drug dog walk around.
Correct. The drug dog was going to walk around. And in addition to that, he had already told me about at least one firearm that was in the car under his seat right now. So I just wanted him to stand away from that.
And what's wrong with a citizen in May of 2018 from having a firearm in their car?
There's nothing wrong with it.
And at this point, same answers, no odor of marijuana, no belief of marijuana or other drugs in the car? Sure.
I don't think I smelled marijuana in the car. I don't think so.
Okay, and we'll get there too, because you mentioned it later.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Partridge, it's 14:20, if you don't mind continuing this.
Sit right here. I'm just gonna pat you down, make sure there's no firearms on you right now. I know you're in the car, right? Okay. All right, good. What is these up here? Probably candy? That's. Nothing back here. Okay. All right, you're fine. Hey, what's your candy? Okay, so you're good. If you want to do something right here, right on the sidewalk. Huh? Not yet.
And what we're looking at 15:21. Now it is 15:27. Can we stop it? Do you recognize who is out of the car on the passenger side?
That's the Mr. Kitchens.
And who is that with Mr. Kitchens?
That was Officer Fikes.
And did you notice Mr. Kitchens having to do anything with his hand when he was told to get out of the car?
He had him up like this, and it looked like a cell phone was in his hand.
And did you notice when he got out of the car, Mr. Kitchens was put against the car, put the fist down? Did you notice that yet?
I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen that yet?
Objection, compound
Seen Mr. Kitchens being pat down?
So all I've seen so far was him stepping out of the car towards Officer Fikes.
Okay. We'll go back just a little bit, and then it's the same question. Maybe 15:20. With the court's permission, and if you could play it, Mr. Partridge at 15:25. Stop at 15:32. You were able to see what Mr. Kitchen's hands were?
His hands were on the roof of the car.
And did you notice what Officer Fikes was doing to Mr. Kitchen?
No, it looks like the camera is cut off. You can't see Mr. Fikes or Officer Fikes.
All right, we're going to continue at 15:32.
That's Jeffrey right there. Thank you.
Now, if you could stop it. Stop at 15:46. Is it your testimony that Mr. Williams freely, voluntarily sat on the side of the curb?
Yes.
And that had nothing to do with your command for him to sit over there? Did you tell Mr. Williams where to sit?
Yeah, I directed him, and then I directed Mr. Kitchens over to the sidewalk.
At that point, was Mr. Williams able to leave if he wanted?
No, he had not received his citations yet.
All right, continue. Oh, that's a good point. I apologize. Thank you. Were you working on the citations at this point?
Yes.
How were you working?
So the computer that's inside the patrol vehicle has a program called RMS, and RMS will have a visual image of the citation, and you go through it box by box, you fill in all the relevant boxes, and then once it's complete, you save it to the system so it gets a citation number, and then you print them out of the printer, and you always print 2 copies, one for the driver and one for the court of each citation.
And how, if you were at Mr. Williams' car and directed Mr. Williams and Mr. Kitchen to sit at the side of the road, for Officer Fikes to walk the drug dog around? How are you working on the citation?
So, let me understand the question. Is the question is because I'm out of the vehicle, I can't access the computer? Yeah. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to have the driver of the vehicle, who is still detained for the traffic stop, to just exit the vehicle and wait on the curb so the drug dog could happen. And that determination came from all of the circumstances that had been occurring since the initiation of the traffic stop. So that's why I approached Mr. Williams. I'd already talked to him. I knew his name. So instead of me telling another officer to do it and then go do it, I just simply walked up to the vehicle to ask him to get out of the vehicle myself. And then based off my recollection, and as soon as we hit play on this, I'm sure you'll see me return back to my vehicle and continue working.
Okay, but my question is a little different. While you're telling Mr. Williams, asking Mr. Williams to exit the car, you have the same with, I know you work in a team, so just including them with you, having Officer Fight do the same with Mr. Kitchens, having them sit on the side of the road. My question is, how are you also working at that point in time on the citation?
That's not something that's.
Sure. So while I'm outside the car, I can't reach the screen.
All right, we can continue, and this is 15:46, Mr. Partridge. Thank you.
I got marijuana and 4 guns in this one, at least 2 guns in this one. I don't know yet. I think we still got sorting out to do. Yeah, no, that's the 2008. Very nice car. It belongs to the guy in the white suit right there.
Okay, just stop it right here. Mr. Partridge, is it 17:59, Lieutenant? Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now you muted your body camera. Is that fair to say?
I didn't hear any audio, so that may have been what happened.
Okay. And during that entire time, from the time that you had all of Mr. Williams' information to issuing the 2 citations like you testified, to now you're still out of the car. Am I correct? You're still not on your computer issuing the citations. Is that true?
Right. It looks like I'm getting back into the car at the 17:59 area.
That's why I stopped. Okay. Can you continue it, Mr. Partridge, with the court's permission?
So, look at that. Mm-hmm. Muted. So, okay.
And if you can, stop it. Right now, your system's still muted. We heard some noises. But is your system still muted or you don't know?
So if we're hearing noises, my system won't be muted.
Oh, you didn't hear that.
So I heard some voices, I couldn't understand what they're saying, but if my system was muted, we would hear nothing at all.
Okay.
And I think it's important too that a few minutes, like if you were to go back 30 seconds, it was silent, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it was muted. It just means that someone near me wasn't talking, because there's plenty of times in the video where you know that other conversations are going on, but the body cam doesn't pick up those conversations because they're not close enough. So it means either it was muted or that someone close to me wasn't talking, that the body cam wouldn't hear, but the human ear could hear.
Okay. Well, let's continue because I think it'll come clear.
Okay.
It's 1840 continuing with Mr. Partridge permission. You're occupied.
Right. Yeah, it's almost over. We got we've got a lot of time left. Okay, we have a lot of time left. I was gonna end it and then start. Well, I'm gonna end it. No, let's just finish this.
No longer muted.
And if you stop it now, that's 1920. It stopped. Do you recognize the no longer muted? Did you hear that?
I did hear it.
Okay. And what does that mean?
That the camera is no longer muted.
And that's in your possession. That's your control.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know why? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, from the video, I can't tell when it was muted. There's not a voice that does that when it goes muted, if that helps you at all.
Why was it muted?
There was a conversation that Lieutenant Officer Fikes and I had, where he was giving me information about Mr. Williams, and it was based off knowledge he had of a previous encounter. So that may have been the reason that I muted it at that time.
Why? Is you mute information that's given by a fellow officer about Mr. Williams?
It had to do with like a different investigation or something along those lines.
It's at this point on the video, it's 1920. Have you done anything to effectuate the giving Mr. Williams the citations at this point?
Yeah, you can see each time that I've been sitting in the car, reaching over on the screen, entering information into the computer, that's times that I am working on completing the citations.
It should take a maximum from walking back to your car, 7 to 10 minutes to issue the citations. In a perfect world.
In a perfect world that wasn't interrupted, you could do it in that timeline, but from the time that this traffic stop started, this was not a typical or perfect world traffic stop. More and more information kept coming available. And you can hear the other officers talk about it. And back in I forget when exactly, but you even hear the evidence of me watching two things at once because I'm seeing the mannerisms of one of the people who keeps reaching into their pocket. So this was definitely a multitasking, a lot of things going on at once as I'm still trying to complete the citations. And that's why it's taken a little longer than the perfect world traffic stop that you referred to.
But let's be fair to Mr. Williams' world. He's done nothing so far, nor is Mr. Kitchens, nor is the Porsche, to prolong his traffic stop. Is that true?
Other than being part of a group where multiple people of the group were all taking part of some type of action. Now, Mr. Williams,
I agree he himself at that point had not been compliant with me. But at the same time, as the initiating officer of a traffic stop on 2 vehicles, I was responsible for the entire investigation. And because that investigation was growing, the traffic stop itself, which initiated that investigation, is taking longer than a uninterrupted average day traffic stop.
What scintilla of evidence do you have, information do you have at this point in time that Mr. Jeffrey Williams, Mr. Kitchen for that Porsche vehicle had any relationship to guns found in the other vehicle patrol?
All right, guys, I am going to take my butt to bed. I'll continue this tomorrow. I find myself getting drowsy, really sleepy. So, I'm sorry. I will see you guys tomorrow. I started yawning, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll put this on tomorrow, okay? Guys, have a good night. Bye.